Hey, what's up guys and gals? My name is Ricknineg. Thank you for joining me today. I want to welcome all the new subscribers. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Today we're going to be reviewing a really cool movie. And I have to admit, I have never ever seen any of the classic Bond films. Why? Well, I was not born in the 60s, 70s. I was born in the late 80s. And so the idea what that is, even when the Pierce Brosnan 007 movies came out, I was still pretty young to watch them. So the real first Bond movie that I saw was Casino Royale. And of course, if you're Bond fans, I'm a fan, but I'm not a know-it-all. Like, I don't know much about the Bond series. I'm kind of getting into it. I really love Casino Royale, and I love Daniel Craig's portrayal of James Bond. Of course, that's not what this video is of, but I want you to see what my perspective is. I'm starting out with Daniel Craig, of course, the controversial blonde Bond. You know, it was a big deal when they had the first blonde man be Bond. But of course, we're going to the original today. I'm going to be reviewing Dr. No. Now, of course, this film came out in the 60s, and I don't want to still give out spoilers. If you want to see a spoiler review where I include plots in the story and things like that, let me know. Alright, so this film is called Dr. No. It is the first Bond film. Now, of course, 007, James Bond being an MI6 British secret agent. Really cool. I think one of the best things about this film is the portrayal of Sean Connery of Bond. I try to go into these films whenever I do the review without looking at any previous reviews, so maybe everyone loves the film and I say I hate it, or maybe vice versa. So I don't know how well these Bond films are received by people as I'm doing these reviews, so I think that's pretty good because I don't want to be biased in that way. I just want to tell you what I think. So I have things that I've written down here. I love the intro. I love the 3 blind mice and the 3 blind men coming in. I think that was fantastic. The original first doo-doo-doo-doo, and then you get shot with that circle. 50 years almost. I mean, it's really great for a 50-year-old film. You know, comparing him again, this is what people thought Bond was, because it was the first exposing of who he was. And there is a softness to Bond, yet when he needs to get stuff done, he gets it done. But he gets it done in a very clean way. He cleans his weapon after everything. There is a gentleman-like quality to him, whereas if you go to Daniel Craig's, he's more rough exterior. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty and put his hands around the guy's neck and get blood on it. It doesn't matter. This Bond is more gentleman-like, more suave.
I admire your courage, Miss
Trench. Sylvia Trench.
Bond. James Bond.
More light on his feet, almost like he's floating as he's walking. Brief instances of comedy that I do like. It's one of the great things when you have a serious movie with all this killing, but every once in a while when you have a little bit of comedy, I think it's great. Let me tell you, pacing was a big thing for me on this film. Sometimes I was like, oh yeah, it's moving so great along, like boom, boom, boom. And then at other times I was like, why are they showing so much detail with this scene? Like, they could just get through it. I'm not saying rushing, but for example, the island scene after Honey got basically his Bond girl got shown in there, and then they were on the island for a while before they got found out. Like, to me, they were doing kind of a necessary thing. They could have gotten to it. I wanted to see Dr. No, the whole film. Like, the film is called Dr. No, and you kind of hear him here.
Sit down.
There was, of course, a great twist with Jack Lord. I won't reveal what the twist was, but I think it was great. I never saw it coming, and I thought Bond was in trouble, and it was just an amazing moment. So you're going to have to watch the movie to get what I'm referring to. This strange scene of a spider where all of a sudden, I mean, it doesn't really ruin the plot, I think. They were trying to kill Bond. They always wanted to kill Bond. And there's a spider on him, and it's just like him hammering away at the spider. And it was just so weird. Like, I understand, but it was just kind of placed in there, and I didn't really see any point to it or why it was a spider. I guess it was just like a nonchalant choice, but it kind of threw me off guard. I'm arachnophobic, so I guess that's why it affected me. Then there was a point where he got invited, Bond got invited to a lady's house. Of course, there's an informant. I won't even get into all that, but there was a really nice scene where she's giving him directions.
Then along the Windward Road until you get to the cement factory. Down the other side. And 2 miles further on.
Brilliant moment, just telling the story in a great way. So I love that little scene. Ursula Andress, guys and gals, goodness gracious, like. There were strange twists in the plot, things that I didn't expect, which is good because sometimes, you know, you watch a movie, it's like, oh yeah, well this is gonna happen, but and it happens. And it's like, well yeah, it's, you know, it's like we can predict. There's some things in here that I did not predict, and I thought it was gonna go one way, and it didn't. And I think that was great. It was fantastic. There's always this theme of mystery going on in the film, which I love. Where I was like, why were they drugged? It really doesn't make sense, how the story went along. I had a few questions, a little loose ends here and there that I didn't really understand. The hero and the villain meeting face to face, that scene was amazing. I loved how they were like right there next to each other. It's like they could have ended each other right there, but they didn't. The big showdown happened when it needed to happen. I think that was great. And there was a scene where Bond was smoking. He's just like, he's with the villain and he just picks up a cigarette and just nonchalantly starts smoking when he's talking to him. I was like, only Bond could do that. Like, who does that? I haven't seen that in any movie. He's like, all the cards are against him and he's just chilling. Like, it was amazing. A couple uses of miniatures, which I really, really like because I didn't notice it at first, and then I kept watching the scene, then I saw it, and I was like, that's really, really good. Likes, let me give you my list. I have a few things written down. Bond, Honey, Dr. No was amazing. Joseph Weissman was amazing as Dr. No. The pacing was pretty good, but then also have it as kind of a dislike at some points. And the story twists were great. For dislikes, again, I have pacing on here because sometimes they focused on something that wasn't that important too much, in my opinion. The details, we didn't need to see all that. And sometimes things weren't paid attention to too much. I think the final conflict, it could have been dragged out a little bit. I think Dr. No was in the last less than 1/3 of the end of the movie, and the last climactic scene happened. It was like 4 minutes left of the movie, and I was like, wait, what? The movie's gonna end? Really? That fast? And it just seemed like they could have stretched it out, but maybe it made me wanting more of the villains. And that's it, guys and gals. I love this movie. I, of course, love to rate the movies A, B, C, D, or F, and I will give this movie a solid B. A B is a really good grade, let me tell you. This is definitely a movie that you could rewatch. I'll probably rewatch it, but it isn't a movie that I said, okay, it's not my Back to the Future, which is the holy grail for me. It's something that I can watch over and over. These things that are written so well. But then again, this movie was written decades after. But I think this is a great start to the Bond series. I could understand why they wanted to make more and more and more as they continued. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think of Dr. No? Which is your favorite Bond movie? We'll see you all next time. And don't forget, be hopeful.